Well, sorry. I don't know when okay, I don't know when I'm gonna get around to posting this one, cause you know, I guess I talk a bit much, but I guess it's time to talk about this. Well, in my previous video, I was talking about how I often really felt interested in, like, I really wanted to be friends with them. With people who were very antisocial, very isolated, who wouldn't talk to people. Not because I felt the same way. It's not like I found a common view or value or anything like that, or like a common idea or feeling with them. It was only because I guess I still can't know to this day. I was just interested in them. Or I guess I just wanted to be somebody who they talk to, and I guess I ended my last video off, I think, if I have good memory. I ended it off because I'm going to be honest with you, I recorded my first video not even that long ago. So, I don't even know how I already forgot. But, I think I ended it with saying if I was still in person school, I would still be doing those things. I would still, I guess, pray for those people to talk to me, or pray for those people to develop some sort of friendship with me. And I guess I still feel that way. I still feel that way. I was saying this earlier, not obviously on video, but by myself, because I do rant to myself. I rant to myself. I'm sorry. I don't know if that's weird, but yeah, I rant to myself all the time. Like, I'll be scrolling and I see a video that really upsets me and I just rant to myself. But I was talking about this earlier, but what happened to indulging in your patient or your friend's interests? What happened to that? What happened to becoming a space for somebody to talk to or to rant to or whatever? Because I feel like the more that people push them away, or they don't, or like these people who like have, I guess, sort of niche interests or whatever, and I don't mean like niches and like, oh, I specifically have an interest in crocheting king size beds. No, I mean like things that I guess people sort of would deem as like unconventional, I guess. I don't really know what to call it, but I suppose so. Yeah, I feel like the more those people are called weird and have no person to talk with them, to talk to about their interests, or they have no safe space. I did it again. I was doing this all day. Safe space. Oh, they have no safe space. They grow to be more isolated. I don't think that their specific interests isolate them. I think, not to use this word society, but I think I do. I'm sorry. I'm gonna have to. But I do think society isolates them. I think people isolate them. I think that their own families isolate them by not allowing their kids to talk with them, not allowing their kids to see their house and their parents as a safe space where they could talk to them about anything, talk to them about their interests. Because I've seen a lot of parents do this, and specifically, unfortunately, with people who use pews. Sorry, I don't know how YouTube's gonna come for me, but whoa, never mind. But often when their children are interested in buying yours, I don't even know. Let's call them Subway. Let's call them sandwiches. Sandwiches. Okay, so a sandwich is a pew pew essentially. So when their children are interested in sandwiches, they often just buy them a sandwich and they're just like, here, take your anger out. I think that's wrong. I truly do think that's wrong. I don't think that you're, especially with the parents who fear their children, I do not think that you should just buy your children sandwiches and then play victim. I've seen way too many times with specific crimes where the parents, if they are still alive, will go on in interviews and rant about how much they wish that their child was never born. And the parents to always say that are always the parents who failed their child in the first place. And I find that so ironic. It's kind of I kind of saw it as performative. It's very performative. It's just giving, oh, maybe the press will see me as a victim and I can live my life freely. You can't live your life freely when you make a bad person. Because if you intentionally make a monster, you yourself, okay, not even to sound like, oh, I am so deep. I am very woke. Okay, I'm sorry. Not to seem like that. Okay, I will use monster in this sense. I'm very sorry. I'm not trying to make it. This is the new quote of 2026. I'm sorry, but I feel like if you intentionally make a monster, you're a monster yourself. If you intentionally raise someone with little to no care, you yourself will receive little to no care from the victims or the victims' families. I don't know why we're sitting here always talking about how you feel so bad for these parents when these parents are also usually to blame. I also feel that sandwiches are not, that's so odd to say, but they're not violent. Sandwiches aren't criminals. People are criminals who use sandwiches to carry out their things. And I feel like that should be known, because I've seen way too many people being like, well, we should stop making sandwiches, ban sandwiches, put the age to own a sandwich at 25. And that's like, you're contributing to I guess this thing, because I don't know why you think raising the age or making sandwiches harder to get is going to solve this problem, because it obviously won't. People who want to take other people's ghosts, if you will, people who want to turn other people into ghosts will do anything to get their hands on a sandwich. They will do anything to get their hands on a sandwich, and I think we should stop acting like that. I feel raise the age to get a sandwich is also very bad, because, well, think about it. You're treating mental illness that gets this bad and neglect and such, these people who are, like, their current mindset that is so bad as a phase. Even if you might not mean it that way, saying raise the age because maybe when they grow up they'll have more senses is harmful, because again, you're treating it as a phase. It's not a phase, it is to them, and it technically just is their life. That is their mind. That is how they will be forever if we do not give them help. Raising the age to own a sandwich does not change the fact that they will still harbor those feelings until they are old enough to get a sandwich. And it doesn't hide the fact that a lot of these young people who aren't old enough to own a sandwich get a sandwich because of their parents. Parents need to start being blamed. I don't see parents getting blamed enough, but parents are definitely to blame when you see these underage people owning sandwiches and committing crimes with said sandwiches. It's usually because the parents buy their children sandwiches. So again, raising the age does not do anything. Background checks. When a parent buys a sandwich, you shouldn't just check the parent's history or the parent's mental health. You shouldn't only check the person who's buying its mental health or their history or anything like that. I think you should also check everybody who lives in that household's history, because it doesn't matter if technically the parent is the one who owns the sandwich. You never know who they're buying it for, as we know in many of these sandwiching cases. They usually buy it for their violent kids who want to commit crimes with sandwiches. Alright, we already know that. It's very known. If we haven't come to this conclusion already, am I the smartest person on earth? What is happening? Because that's just outrageous. You should know that, and we also need to focus on these kids' mental health. We need to take mental health seriously. We need to make getting help more accessible, and we need to stop making it such a taboo topic. We need to normalize getting help. We need to normalize not judging people. If somebody says they want to commit crimes with a sandwich, don't be like, oh, you're so, you can think that they're weird, but if you should prioritize them getting help immediately, because that would be the safest option for you and people of the future. The second, if somebody's looking out for help, I also think we should get them help, and we shouldn't judge them, because that deters, people from getting help. I don't feel anything. I do feel anything, but I I do feel something. I just meant that's not what I wanted to start my sentence with. That mess up made me forget, actually. I also think that we should take bullying in schools more seriously, because I feel like in America, at least, bullying is normalized. In other countries, bullying is very common, for example, and it's very well known, and it's taken seriously for the most part. People aren't allowed to graduate. People aren't allowed to be, their chances of getting accepted into their college, if bullying is on their record, is very, sometimes, low. But in America, that can happen, but a lot of the times it doesn't. A lot of the time, bullying here in America is so normalized, it's seen as, I don't really know how to describe it, but I guess it's seen as whatever, you got bullied, okay, maybe that you should have happened. Maybe you should have gotten bullied. It's kind of seen as a bad thing on you. And that's not to reflect, oh, people in America bully weird kids. It just goes to show that bullying isn't taken seriously. Bully victims are not cared for in the slightest. If you tell teachers that you were being bullied, they don't do anything about it. They honestly care about a random girl in a class wearing a tank top because her shoulders are showing, and that's a sin, I guess. That's what they care about. You could tell a teacher that you got beat up by some classmates in the bathroom, and they wouldn't care. They'd be like, okay, all I heard is that you indulged in a fight. Expelled. I just find that ridiculous. We should care about kids and what they go through. I don't know why we don't, but let's just stop blaming sandwiches. Obviously, America has bad sandwich laws, but sandwiches don't sandwich themselves. Okay, other people use sandwiches to sandwich other people. Like, let's never forget that. Let's never forget that. That is something that we should not forget. That is something that we should not act like isn't true. Because it is. But, moving on. I honestly sometimes wish... I want to say this... I guess I want to give context to this. This is coming from a place of... I already said this, but I'm very into psychology. Like, it hasn't just been recently. Like, in elementary school, I was always into psychology. I always understood a lot of things. And, I guess I knew a lot of people, and I had a lot of insight onto mental or psychological disorders. You know, oh my goodness. Neurological disorders. I knew of them very well. Okay, I was never a judgy person. I did judge. I'm a judger. But it wasn't... I guess, like, I would never, I wasn't like, judging in a bullying or mean way, and I would never say anything to anybody, but I would judge people. I guess, just from looking at them, I would come up with, like, an idea of them in my head, which I know is not healthy, but that's just how I did it, because I was very cautious because of how I used to get bullied. Duh. So I was cautious. I would, like, I don't know, pattern recognition, kind of, and I would judge people in that sense. But I'm just very interested in people who think these certain ways, or people who have these, I guess, very interesting thoughts on life, the government, or how people live. You know, I don't care about what a racist or homophobic or sexist person has to say, because that's just outrageous. I don't care. You're telling me you're mad because somebody is a different race. Yeah, I don't care about your opinion because it's stupid. Okay? It's very much stupid. But people who have, I don't know, thoughts on life and death, or thoughts on, I guess, school systems, thoughts on society, or people who are also into the stuff that I'm into, or anything like that. I'm always interested. I always love... I just want to hear somebody talk to me about that stuff, I guess. Like, I remember back in the day, you would have ranters talking about this stuff. Like, I'm talking about when YouTube wasn't as moderated as it is now, back in the day, and you would have people just sharing their opinion out in the open, or sharing these really deep, thought-provoking, I guess, rant videos, making them, and I would just sit there and listen, because I'm an open-minded person, and I would just sit there and listen, and I'd be like, wow. And I'm like, oh, wow, that is so beautiful. I wasn't doing that, but I'd be like, wow, this is how other people think. I just very much like to hear other people rant, or things like that, and I rarely can find videos like that anymore, or other people doing that, I guess. And I just, sometimes I wish I was still in school, because a lot of these people who harbor these thoughts are very much isolated people in school. And I know I probably wouldn't go up to them now, because I'm very introverted, antisocial, really bad social anxiety. That's why I'm in online school. Like, I can't function in school in a setting like that. How could I function to ask somebody else or talk to somebody else? But I really do. And sometimes I know it's pretty unconventional, but I wish somebody with those views would reach out to me. But I know that's unconventional, because I don't surround myself with people who might have those ideas. I'm not in communities where people might have those ideas anymore. But I remember my friends, I would just want them to talk to me about, like, random stuff. And I would want them to, like, rant to me about stuff. But they didn't want to, because I wouldn't, like, engage in like a back and forth conversation, but that's mostly because that's not what I was looking for. I was looking for somebody to talk to me about some of their views, and maybe once I fully grasp your views, then I would maybe add what I thought on. But they did not want that, and I guess the friends that I did have weren't really the people who had much views on complex, I don't know, things. I mean, not to say that they were stupid. They weren't stupid, but like they didn't want to think about that, and I definitely understand that, because I'm so sorry for the stuff in the background. I actually really can't function unless there's somebody talking in the background. I actually get very paranoid if I'm left alone, and I even like at night I have to put on really loud volume like a video of like somebody talking. I can't even put on like a white noise or something. It has to be somebody talking, or else I will get very paranoid and I won't be able to sleep. And I also had to do it while I speak, because sometimes I just can't talk alone or in silence, because I can't get into that, but it doesn't matter. But that's why there is a YouTube video playing in the background. Sorry. But my goodness. And so, yeah, I understand that they didn't want to, but I guess I just really wish that they would, or I really wish that I had friends who did. And maybe by making these videos, I do hope that other, I guess, isolated people will talk to me about some of their things. Maybe I could build new friendships. I don't know. I know I keep saying I'm antisocial, and I'm very introverted, and I have really bad social anxiety, and I don't really enjoy talking to people that much. But I will say that only tracks when I'm in real life. Yes, I think it might just be draining, or it might just make me too anxious and paranoid. But that does not regard the same way online. Obviously, I do have a few friends online that I'm very close to. So, yeah. But I guess I know, and then I'm saying like, oh, I really want to make new friends, but I'm sorry. I know my truth. But anyway, I guess by making these videos, I am just maybe hoping that I could find someone who, I guess my vocabulary isn't that big, so I don't know if confide in would be the right word, but somebody to confide in me, I guess, or to talk to me about their, or whatever. Or maybe there's somebody else who rants about these things that I have no idea about, because the YouTube algorithm is but I guess I kind of hope that these videos don't go out to anybody, but at the same time, I really do hope that these videos go out to somebody. I guess I just want my own niche community. I think I'd rather have more of a community who would rather talk to me than a whole community of people who are listening to me and want to know my opinions only and don't share their own. I would like a community who is more of a talker and a sharer than they are a listener. Obviously, what the heck? Obviously both, but, I'm not much of a talker myself. I actually have been planning to record these videos for multiple days, but I guess I've gotten a bit too paranoid to record them, and oftentimes I don't feel comfortable talking. I don't even know how I got to this, but I will say I have been bullied a lot, mostly online, because of my voices, and I would often be kicked out of because of my voice, and I would often be kicked out of online spaces because my voice is annoying. I remember a lot of people would think that I was a man, not because I have such a deep voice, bro. It wasn't because of that. It was because that they said that my voice was too squeaky, and no real girl actually has that squeaky of a voice. And then like, you're probably a femboy, or like a boy pretending to be a girl, and you just have a voice changer on. And I'd be like, no, that's my real voice. Like, I don't, am I crazy? I don't think my voice is that squeaky. It definitely used to be when I was younger, but now, and it still even happens now sometimes. But now, I mean, ever? I don't know. I can't really hear it as I'm speaking, but sometimes when I listen back to certain things, like, I kind of hear it. But I guess I'm kind of insecure in my voice. I used to fake a deeper voice so that people would talk to me. But yeah, I'm not just that, but again, it goes back to the paranoia. I know it doesn't make sense. How do you have paranoia from recording? It's not the recordings itself. It's my in real life environment. I'm not in a bad environment. I just sometimes fear that somebody will hear me, or I can't even explain it to you, Gil. I can't even. So, I guess that's all for this video. But yeah, if somebody comes across this video and you have some bizarre values, ideas, views, anything, opinions that you think I might be interested in that does not relate to racism, sexism, or homophobia, transphobia, anything of the sort, please, I don't want no bigots. Please, no. But if you have anything, you want to talk to me about how you think about life, what you think about school, what you think about society, what you think about the government, what you think about police, anything, please, I've been looking way too long and hoping way too long that somebody like that comes across my way so that I finally get my piece of listening to somebody, and it never happens. So if you think that you fit that description, or you know another, like, I don't know, YouTube ranter or anybody like that who fits that description, please send them my way, or send yourself my way, comment. I don't know anything. Thank you. That's it for this video.